Good morning. On today's Healthy You, we are going to talk about whole food, or what they call whole foods, plant-based diets. All right, let's open up with the medical disclaimer. Always check with your physician before starting any exercise program or diet regimen. Information here is my personal research into different health topics and is not to be considered medical advice. By the way, my name is Jane if you haven't met me before. There are some ways to begin a whole plant or plant diet, and there are some tips and tricks in this article, but let's get into it. Whole food plant-based diets prioritize plant foods and minimize processed ingredients and animal products. This eating pattern is considered environmentally friendly and may be associated with several health benefits. Maybe. But then again, when you're stripping land to create farms, is that environmentally friendly? I don't know. Oh well. There are many arguments about the diet, and there are several ways to do it. So let's get into it. The first thing is you want to use fresh whole ingredients and minimize those processed foods because that is going to be a lot better for your body physically. So it focuses on minimally processed foods and prioritize plants. Shows that also is very effective for improving your health and for weight loss as well. So, what is a whole food plant-based diet? Well, unfortunately, there's no clear definition of what constitutes a whole food plant-based diet because it's not necessarily a set diet. It is actually more of a lifestyle. And your plant-based diet is going to vary depending on the extent to which you want to include animal products in your diet or not. So, the basic principles of those are as follows. You emphasize whole, minimally processed foods. You limit or avoid animal products. You focus on plants, including vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, seeds, and nuts, which should take up the majority of what you are eating. You exclude refined foods like added sugars, white flour, and processed oils. You pay attention to your food quality. So, and many folks will make sure that they are only using locally sourced organic food wherever possible. For that reason, it can often be confused with a vegan or a vegetarian diet, yet those are similar in many ways. Those diets are not the same, and we'll get into those at a later date. People who follow vegan diets abstain from consuming any animal products, including dairy, meat, poultry, seafood, eggs, and honey. Vegetarians exclude all meat and poultry from their diets, but some vegetarians may eat foods such as eggs, seafood, and or dairy. The whole food plant-based diet is a lot more flexible because it allows you to eat mostly plants, but animal products are not off limits. So, it can help you lose weight, improve your health. Obesity is the #1 epidemic of proportions, and it is true here in the U.S. We are one of the fattest countries in the nation, unfortunately. So, making some of those dietary changes and lifestyle changes can help you with weight loss and have a long-lasting impact on your health. There is this that is a lot of the weight loss and the way that it helps you health-wise is because it is full of fiber. There is a high fiber content with it. And also because you're excluding processed foods, like pasteurized, like the plastic cheese in the wrap that you open up. You're excluding a lot of those things. So it's going to help you with shedding pounds. So there was a review of 12 studies that included more than 1,100 people who found that those assigned to plant-based diets lost significantly more weight, about 4.5 pounds over an average of 18 weeks than those assigned to non-vegetarian diets. That's rather interesting. Adopting a healthy plant-based eating pattern may also help you keep that weight off for the long run. A study in 65 people with overweight or obesity found that those assigned to that diet lost more weight than the control group and were able to sustain that loss of 25 pounds over a 1-year follow-up period. However, it's unclear whether the control group received nutrition advice or actually made any changes to their diet. Regardless, simply cutting out the processed foods that aren't allowed on this, like candy, soda, fast food, refined grains, is a powerful weight loss tool in itself alone. It benefits a number of health conditions such as heart disease, which is one of the most well-known benefits of having those, is because those people who follow this are heart healthy. A large study in over 200,000 people found that those who followed a healthy plant-based diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, and nuts had a significantly lower risk of developing heart disease than those following a non-plant-based diet. However, less nutritious plant-based diets that include sugary drinks, fruit juices, and refined grains were associated with a slightly increased risk of heart disease. Consuming the right kinds of food is critical for heart disease prevention when following a plant-based diet. So that's why adhering to that is key and the best choice for that. Cancer. Research suggests that following a plant-based diet may reduce your risk of certain types of cancer. A study in over 76,000 people found following a healthy plant-based diet could be associated with the lower risk of breast cancer. Similarly, another recent study showed that a greater consumption of nutritious plant-based foods was linked to a lower risk of aggressive forms of prostate cancer, especially in men under 65 years old. Also, a 2022 review concluded that plant-based diets could be tied to a lower risk of digestive system cancers, such as pancreatic, colon, rectal, and colorectal cancers. Cognitive decline. Some studies suggest that those diets that are rich in vegetables and fruits may help slow or prevent cognitive decline and Alzheimer's diseases in older adults. Plant-based diets also have a higher number of plant compounds and antioxidants, which may help slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease and reverse cognitive deficits, according to some test tube and animal studies. How do you figure that with test tubes? I'd like to find out that. In many studies, higher intake of fruits and vegetables have been strongly associated with a reduction in cognitive decline. A review of 9 studies that included over 31,000 people found that eating more fruits and vegetables led to a 20% reduction in the risk of developing cognitive impairment or dementia. That sounds good. Other studies in older adults have found that plant-based eating patterns may be associated with a reduced risk of cognitive impairment, along with slower decline in brain function. Diabetes. Adopting that kind of diet may be an effective tool in managing and reducing your risk of developing diabetes. A study in more than 200,000 people found that those who adhered to a healthy plant-based eating pattern had 34% lower risk of developing diabetes than those who followed unhealthy, non-plant-based diet. Another study demonstrated that plant-based diets could be beneficial for the prevention of type 2 diabetes, especially when you include nutritious plant-based foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and legumes. Plus, plant-based diets have been shown to improve blood sugar control, body weight, and cholesterol levels in people with diabetes. So adopting to a whole food, plant-based diet is good for the planet. Switching to a plant-based diet not only benefits your health, it can help protect the environment as well. I still have questions on that. People who follow plant-based diets may have smaller environmental food footprints. Not so sure about that. Adopting sustainable eating habits can reduce greenhouse gas emissions, water consumption, and land used for factory farming, which are all factors in global warming and environmental degradation. Still, I have a lot of questions about that because you're using a lot of land. You're going to have to use either human labor or you're going to have to use combines, watering equipment to take care of those things. So yeah, I still have questions about that. Although this one study said that there is a 70% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions and land use, and 50% less water use could be achieved by shifting Western diet patterns to a more sustainable plant-based dietary patterns. Excuse me. I still doubt that. When you are spraying water out into the environment to spray the crops, that is a gas house emission because it creates steam, which is a gas emission. So, like I said, I still have questions. So, some of the suggestions for foods to eat on a whole food plant-based diet are from eggs and bacon for breakfast to steak for dinner. Animal products are the focus of most meals for many people. When switching to a plant-based meal diet, the meal should center around plant-based foods. If animal foods are eaten, they should be eaten in smaller quantities with attention paid to the quality of the item. I agree to that wholeheartedly, just for everyone. Foods like dairy, eggs, poultry, meat, and seafood should be used more as a complement than the main focal point. So, what is a shopping list for a whole foods plant-based shopping list look like? Vegetables, like fruits like berries, citrus fruits, pears, peaches, pineapple, bananas, cherries, you get it, fruit. Vegetables, kale, spinach, tomatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, asparagus, peppers, tomatoes, on and on. Starchy vegetables such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, and any kind of squash. Whole grains like brown rice, rolled oats, farro, quinoa, brown rice, pasta, barley, etc. Healthy fats would be avocados, olive oil, unsweetened coconut oil. Legumes would be peas, chickpeas, lentils, peanuts, black beans, pinto beans, Seeds, nuts, and nut butters, almonds, cashew, macadamia nuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, natural peanut butter, tahini, those kind of things. Unsweetened plant-based milks would be coconut milk, almond milk, cashew milk, etc. Spices, herbs, and seasonings, your usual things. Condiments, salsa, mustard, nutritional yeast, soy sauce, vinegar, lemon juice, those kind of things. And some of the plant-based protein would be tofu, tempeh, plant-based protein sources or powders with no added sugar or artificial ingredients, beverages, coffee, tea, sparkling water. So if you are supplementing your plant-based diet with animal products, choose quality products from grocery stores, or better yet, purchase them from local farms. And some of those things that you can enjoy in moderation include eggs, poultry, beef, pork, seafood, and dairy products. So while you can consume conventional animal products, some people find that if they choose pasture-raised, grass-fed, wild-caught, or organic products for environmental reasons or personal preferences. Foods to avoid or processed things like fast food, French fries, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, added sugars, sweets like table sugar, soda, juice, pastries, cookies, candy, sweet tea, sugary cereals, refined grains, white rice, white pasta, white bread, bagels. Although I do have a problem with brown rice because there's a toxin in the brown rice. And I don't know if rinsing it off works as well. But whatever. You know, you should rinse your rice anyway several times before you cook it. Chips, crackers, cereal bars, processed vegan-friendly foods. I find this interesting. Plant-based things like tofurkey, faux cheeses, vegan butters. Avoid those. Artificial sweeteners, processed animal products like bacon, lunch meat, sausage, beef, jerky. Those are foods to minimize. To avoid. Minimizing your pork, beef, sheep, game meats, poultry, eggs, dairy, and seafood. And here are some suggestions, like for the things that you want to do. You want to eat a plant-based diet. Like for breakfast, have oatmeal made with coconut milk topped with berries, coconut, and walnuts. Lunch, have a large salad topped with fresh vegetables, chickpeas, avocado, pumpkin seeds, and goat cheese. Dinner, maybe butternut squash curry. Yogurts with, berries, whatever. Meatless chili. Maybe for dinner you would have a sweet potato and black bean tacos. Maybe for breakfast you would have a smoothie that has unsweetened coconut milk, berries, peanut butter, and maybe some unsweetened plant-based protein powder. For lunch, maybe hummus and a veggie wrap. Maybe zucchini noodles tossed in pesto with chicken meatballs for dinner. Now, I've never tried this, but this sounds interesting. Breakfast, savory oatmeal with avocado, salsa, and black beans. Maybe, maybe not. Those are just a couple of suggestions. Now, there are some tips for losing weight on a plant-based diet. And these are the tips that are suggested. Decide on your definition of a plant-based diet, period. Determine what you want to. Sorry about that, had changed the battery. And I had said for losing weight, and yes, you want to do that. So you want to decide on your definition of a plant-based diet. You want to decide whether you want it to look like veganism, which excludes all animals, or if you want lacto-ovo vegetarianism, which permits eggs and dairy, or pescatarian, which means seafood, includes seafood. There's also a flexitarian diet, which means you'll still eat animal products here and there, but primarily follow a plant-based eating pattern. Research has associated veganism, lacto-ovo vegetarianism, pescatarianism, and flexitarianism, you like all these isms, with weight loss. Ultimately, you have options in identifying your own definition of a plant-based diet. So, before diving in, you may also want to give some thought to how this dietary pattern is going to affect your lifestyle. Going vegan may present extra challenges in social settings or dining out, or may require more substitutions in cooking and baking at home. Broader versions of vegetarianism, on the other hand, may be easier to follow. And I'm not really calling this a vegetarianism diet because with the flexibility that's allowed in this, I don't consider that vegetarianism. So, number 2, avoid all or nothing mentality. Remember, your diet is up to you. Oh my goodness, it's up to me? Yes. So even if you choose a plant-based eating pattern, it doesn't mean you can never depart from it. You may also find that it's easier to ease into it slowly rather than in one fall swoop. Maybe you're not ready to go fully plant-based diet. So just start by adding more vegetables to your meals that you already love and eating more fruit as a dessert. Paring down your meat portions. Simple things. Learn about plant-based swaps. Found this interesting. Switching to a plant-based diet won't require tweaking your macros or counting your calories, but it does require a bit of education. To be prepared for this way of eating, take time to learn about various plant-based substitutions you can make. Experiment with different types of plant-based proteins and recipes. This person also suggests learn how to use flax eggs and plant oils in place of animal products in baking. Those substitutions that you make are usually going to have fewer calories and fat than animal. So it is going to support a weight loss. Okay? They give you a comparison of milk, such as a 3-ounce chicken. Well, that's not milk. Go back to the milk. 1 cup of almond milk contains 37 calories and 3 grams of fat, compared with 122 calories and 4.6 grams of fat of 1 cup of 2% milk. And that's cow's milk. Don't forget about your protein. Missing out on protein is the common pitfall of plant-based diets, especially if you've long depended on those animal products for that macronutrient. As you transition away from meat, don't forget to include protein-rich plant foods like beans, legumes, tofu, seitan, and tempeh. Protein could be a key to successful weight loss. While research doesn't show that plant protein has any significant edge over animal protein for dropping pounds, it does suggest that getting enough of this macronutrient is indeed supportive of losing weight. Keep your meal planning simple. Don't complicate it. You can throw together a healthy plant-based meal in less than 10 minutes. And here's a go-to meal she has. A bag of frozen pre-cooked rice, bag of stir-fry vegetables, some shelled edamame, and a small amount of bottled sauce, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, whatever. So that can help you. And of course, it's going to help a lot if you're busy, if you do those kind of things. So get strategic to get your satiety, your fullness, your I'm happy, complete with this. So downing a bowl of salad greens for lunch is an excellent way to get micronutrients and antioxidants. But by 2 p.m. you may be hungry. So it's helpful to plan for foods that will help keep you full. Prioritize including a protein and fiber source with every meal. Limit the number of refined carbs in your diet. By staying satisfied throughout the day, You'll reduce the likelihood of overeating when mealtime or snack time rolls around. And that's true of any diet you choose, regardless of what you choose. Pay attention to food labels. Just because a food advertises itself as plant-based doesn't make it healthy. Get savvy with the food labels so you can distinguish when a packaged food is actually a good choice. Read the labels. Pay attention to saturated fats, added sugar, and the sodium content in the packaged foods. Junk food is still junk food, even when wrapped in plant-based labeling. This is especially a smart move for reaching a healthy weight, since highly processed foods are associated with weight gain, per the National Institutes of Health. And there you have it, a little bit of information about following a plant-based diet. So if you're going to do that, like I said, I would choose carefully and look into it to see if it's something that works for you. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. As always, be a little kinder to yourself. Be kind to one another, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.